Vergason from the Modern Home Bar. Come on in. The Modern Home Bar is located in Old Town Alexandria. It's my hometown. I love it here. We share a building with The Hour, and The Hour is my retail store that I have had in operation for about 13 years now, specializing in vintage barware and glassware, which is where we're standing. It's a passion that I've had for a long time. I've been an avid collector for almost 3 decades of barware and glassware, and mostly made in America. And mostly 20th century, from the 1920s to the 1970s. It's a period that I think had a lot of design and has endured the test of time. It brings me joy being around all of the colors and all of the shapes and sizes and the cocktails, and to me it's what happy hour at home should be. It should be joyful, it should express your style, and it's something that I've had a big passion for a very long time. Another of my passions is history, and especially when it comes to cocktails. Cocktails and glassware they developed side by side, and following World War II, mid-century, the industrial age had kind of taken over, and blank glass became more commonplace in the home bar. Glass was often tumbler shaped instead of being stemware, and patterns would wrap around the glass. There were famous designers who would create all interesting works of art, and the patterns would be printed on the glass. Sometimes they were simple prints, and often they also were embellished with gold. And every glass had its own personality, and it's one of the things that I appreciate about mid-century glassware. So over the years, I've continued to acquire a lot of inventory, and I've also been fortunate enough to acquire some great friends and some great bartending friends. I am not a bartender by trade, but I am a home bartender, and with their help, I have written a series of books over the years. My first one was about the DC cocktail scene back in 2011, 2012. And then I wrote one on Old Town's cocktail scene more recently. And then my most recent book was called Home Bar Basics, geared towards individuals at home during the pandemic. So while I'm not a bartender, I do have a little bit of knowledge about cocktails. So let me tell you about the Modern Home Bar now. It's my favorite project of all. The Modern Home Bar started about 5 years ago. It kind of developed out of what you saw. I would go to market and would constantly be looking for new product that really held up to the vintage. But I couldn't find any. So when you can't find it, you make it. And if I was going to make it, it had to be made in America, because I wanted to continue this American tradition. And I also wanted it to be affordable, and I wanted it to have like all the bells and whistles that I would want right now, and have that vintage feel. I wanted to have a texture on the glass, which really is something that is so unique to mid-century glass, and up until recently, nobody could do it. So the glasses are digitally printed, and they're made on American glass, and it's been a wonderful experience to have them now located in over 200 retailers across the US and even in Canada. Even throughout the pandemic, I'm finding that they are a hit, and so it's been a real joy, and one that I continue to look for designing and bringing more to you. Cheers.